Welcome back to A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Sports Atlanta. Check out all the shows on the Locked On Sports Atlanta network. Of course, this is A to Z. I've hit hard with John Chuckery, ATL Day One, Jarvis Davis, and Teacher Batiste, Locked On Falcons, Locked On host, and the host of our best show, our most popular show, our Braves POSTCAST. Grant McAuley joins us here on A to Z. Grant, welcome. Good to see you as always. Braves getting set to start a series with the Colorado Rockies, and really an opportune time because the Mets are facing the Dodgers, Braves are facing the Rockies. So if you're going to make up and hopefully, like the best case scenario, I think, is if the Mets don't end up getting swept but lose 2 out of 3 and the Braves sweep the Rockies, you're a game out of first when this is all said and done.
Yeah, you're hoping that this is the week we're able to make a little bit of, headway as far as trying to track down the Mets, because the Dodgers could give you an awful lot, because the Dodgers are a team that appears to be the only one in baseball that's most series and maybe most nights is immune to losing. And that's just not something you see a lot of. And the Dodgers have been on quite a roll. Meanwhile, the Mets have done pretty much everything they needed to keep the Braves at least at an arm's distance. But this is a race that with 30 plus games to go, the whole month of September ahead of us, and even a little bit into October, is going to be decided by which club is able to, I think, play the most consistent baseball down the stretch. I think the Braves have done that. This weekend in St. Louis probably didn't give people a whole lot of, good feelings, particularly Saturday and Sunday. But this is a Braves club that's only lost 2 series since the All-Star break. So go and handle your business against the Rockies. Then the Marlins come in right after that. So it's a chance to, take advantage of the soft part of the schedule.
And you mentioned the series didn't go well, and how much people have made a big deal about the bullpen and what had happened. Troublesome to me, to say the least, just because the overreaction to it, I think, is at this point in time, clearly we know this is a bullpen that can be trusted. We know that this bullpen that is one of the better ones in baseball. A bad weekend. It happens. Is it inopportune the time it happened? Yeah, but I thought the overreaction was a little bit much.
Yeah, there was a lot. I mean, because Kenley Jansen, I think, has been the guy that, is going to bear the brunt of it, because he's a closer. And when you allow a game to get away and you walk home the winning run, there are a lot of different ways to lose. Walking in the winning run is probably toward the top of the list of one of the worst ways to possibly lose. It was the culmination of an inning in which it just seemed like he didn't have it. But it all happened, I would say, rather quickly. I mean, you can't just get your closer up, get him in a game, and have 2 more guys throwing in the bullpen just in case he gets in trouble. And that, I think, is some of the nuance that's just not really realized. And what are you going to do? I mean, allow him to get in trouble, allow the game, and then bring somebody else into a bases-loaded situation and hope that they're able to get out of that. And this is the guy that you got to live and die with at the end of the day, and he's the one that's been doing it for the longest and has been putting together a Cooperstown resume, in my opinion. But that aside, then you go into the next day, and I think it just compounds the issue. When you lose twice in the late innings in a game that you pretty much should have had well in hand, an opportunity to sweep another first-place team, A.J. Minter throwing 3 days in a row, you can question using him in that blowout in Game 1. I think that's totally valid. But A.J. is not a guy who's been a liability to this bullpen. I think he's been their best overall reliever all season long, and that includes Kenley Jansen. And he had never allowed multiple home runs in an appearance in his entire big league career. And that's what happened to him in the 8th inning on Sunday. So some things went wrong, most definitely. Those players are aware of it. The Braves are aware of it, and they just got to figure out a way to have fewer days like that down the stretch. But every one of these losses that's happening right now is equal to all of those early season struggles and losses and series that the Braves weren't able to take care of in April and May. It all comes back. It all counts the same. It just is magnified right now because you're running out of days on the calendar.
All right, there was an alarming headline I saw yesterday, and it's one of those that is both big picture and small picture. I'll tell you about that in a second. First, a word from our friends at BetOnline.net, the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, Major League Baseball, of course, wrapping up NFL right on the doorstep, along with college football. NBA, NHL right around the corner, combat sports, esports, even golf. It's all there. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, which is a lot of fun. Even if you're new to gambling, you don't need to know a lot about live in-game or betting itself to be able to live in-game bet. So it's fun, a great way to get initiated into gambling. But they also have scores and podcasts. They've got you covered at BetOnline. Head today to betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more about the action that's happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right. The alarming headline, Grant, that I saw was in the AJC, and it was about Ronald Acuna's knee and the intense pain that he was in. In the small picture, you could sit here and tell me, well, Zeno, he's not really playing that well. Well, he's playing well by major league standards. He's not playing well by Ronald Acuna's standards, and those are two different things. That's number one. Number two, you could say, well, we won the World Series last year without him. I go, yeah, but you had a whole bunch of different players there. The bottom line here is that there's not an argument to say that the Braves are better without Ronald Acuna in the lineup on an everyday basis. That's the small picture. The big picture is, and the fear, and I don't know how much this is talked about, but pushing him through this, pushing him through. What sort of damage are we doing to the knee? Is he going to have to go get it cleaned up in the offseason again? Is this going to be a perpetual problem for him now the rest of his career? It's like, how do you balance this? Because there are fans out there who may say, well, they won the World Series last year. Who cares if they don't win it? No, BS. Win the World Series every damn year if you can. Like, there is no reason to ever look back at last year and go, well, we don't need to win this year. Yes, you do. Win the damn thing again. I mean, talking to a Yankee fan here, hello, win as many as you can. Right. You're never going to be upset about winning more than one. So how do they treat this? How serious is Acuna's knee to you? What's the plan to go ahead? I mean, is just a rest here and there enough for him? What's up?
Yeah, I feel like the rest is really the route to go. I don't think it's anything that at this point that you're concerned about it causing more damage or needing to be cleaned up in the offseason or requiring another surgery. I don't think they've gotten to that point yet. I just feel like this is a kid that went through a major surgical procedure to correct an injury that cost him the better part of last season and pushed it on into this season. And this may just be the new normal to him, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And some of this will be managing pain, and athletes have to manage pain. I got news for you. They're never 100%. It may not even be 100% coming out of spring training, but they're certainly not 100% at this time of the year. Everybody's got aches and pains and things going on. And for Ronald, this is totally different than perhaps any other time in his life, just in general. He's always been a great athlete and one of the premier players wherever he goes, whatever league that is, and that includes Major League Baseball. And I think that people have kind of maybe in some ways forgotten exactly how good this guy is because we haven't seen that this year. But I feel like that's all still in there. But running the bases, even hitting at times, I think has been, something that he's felt just different. The knee has just not been quite the same for him. And I think that that's been apparent, in the way he plays the outfield at times. He's still not leaping and making a lot of dives in the outfield either. And I can count on one hand the number of times I've seen him slide feet first this year. And that's a strange thing to be saying about a baseball player who's an everyday guy as we approach the month of September. But he has been trying to take care of this the best he can. The Braves have been trying to take care of it the best that they can because there's no reason for him not to be out there on a regular basis. But I just feel like this is just something he's going to have to manage. And in the immediate aftermath or the immediate season after, in which it may be a little bit more intense than it is going forward, hopefully, it's just going to present some hurdles and present some pain at times. And getting that time off, a couple of days here or there, I think should be enough. If it's not, and he has something that's a bit more severe, intense, whatever you want to call it, then maybe you have to make a different decision. But I don't think it's gotten to that point yet. But I don't think that we're through hearing that Ronald Acuna Jr. is dealing with some knee issues because it's just kind of something that I think comes with the territory when you get your ACL reconstructed.
All right, become fun, and I'm fun. And Braves fans have a different definition of fun than me, obviously.
Clearly.
We won't get into the Vaughn Grissom, Ozzie Albies poll. We've moved on from that. But I do want to continue to hammer out a playoff rotation here going forward because we're down the stretch here. And, according to the percentages, there's a 99.9% chance the Braves are going to make the playoffs. Now, a lot of this obviously depends. Do they get the first round bye or are they wild card? They're obviously going to be the top wild card if they are. I don't see a reason why they'd fall in a second or third. That said, if they're the top wild card right now, they're trending towards a 3-game series with the San Diego Padres. Or even if it's Padres as the Phillies, you're getting a fairly even level opponent. The way I approach this, and I want to get your thoughts. Obviously, Fried's going to go game 1. But I still say, given this scenario, it is either Strider or Wright in game 2, and Morton. Look, you're not giving Wright or Strider the ball in a winner-take-all game. If it's 1-1 in a 3-game series, Morton is getting that ball. It has to be, right? Like, you can't put that kind of pressure on either one of those guys.
I don't know. I mean, the old school says that, you go with your veteran guy, but I can also go back and look at the 2019 National League Division Series and wonder why, Dallas Keuchel got 2 starts. Both of them ended up being losses. And Mike Soroka started one time, looked terrific. And he was a 21-year-old kid who had just done nothing but win all season long and give you reason, not just win because the team scored him a bunch of runs. He'd gone out there and made it. Yeah, it was a Rookie of the Year case. Pete Alonso wasn't busy hitting 50 homers that year, and Mike Soroka walks away with that Rookie of the Year award. And that's kind of what I look at. But Spencer Strider's a different animal than Mike Soroka was.
Yes.
And with Kyle Wright, I feel like he's done nothing but just show you that consistently he can go out there and give you a good start. Yeah, everybody's going to have a bad one every now and again, but if you've been watching the body of work that guy's put up this year, it has been an impressive quality start after quality start kind of performance, and that's exactly the kind of thing that I think you'd want in the postseason. And Max Fried is going to get that ball game one. Right. Charlie Morton has been a big game pitcher over the last 5, 6, 7 years of his big league career, as he's had this renaissance, if you will, in his mid to late 30s to become the pitcher that he is and what the Braves signed him to be. I would just make the case that down the stretch, you kind of have to make your own case as each one of these pitchers as to who you can trust the most. And if anything, October has shown us you can ride the hot hand. You can get on a streak and things can work out in ways that maybe your best laid plans at the beginning of the season or even a month out would not have allowed you to do. And I think the Braves proved that last year. So I have a hard time imagining Spencer Strider doesn't get a start in a 3-game series. And I have a hard time imagining at the moment that Kyle Wright doesn't get one either, because Charlie Morton has had a very Jekyll and Hyde up and down kind of season. And that's just not the kind of thing I feel like you want. I mean, as much as you want to, tell Charlie, hey, you're still the guy, you're our guy to start these games and you've done it all your career, I think at some point you might have to just pass that baton to somebody else who just might be more qualified. And depending on what that matchup looks like as well, whether it's the Phillies or the Padres, who you feel like gives you the best chance to win, because it's survive and advance, right? I mean, that's what you're looking at to get through each one of these series. The Braves did a pretty nice job of that last year. And I know that, you made the joke a little bit earlier. Yeah, the Braves won the World Series, not Ronald Acuna Jr. Well, they're not getting there without Ronald Acuna Jr.'s first half, having them in a position to buy at the trade deadline. The Braves won the World Series by and large without Charlie Morton because he broke his leg in his first start. That's not the kind of thing that you typically see. But be that as it may, I feel like you just got to give the opportunity to pitch down the stretch and decide who is best fit for the matchup that you get in the first round. And hopefully, you're not having to worry about the wild card, but we got to figure that out over the next month.
Well, you could always do what Lou Brown did and start Eddie Harris and then bring in Wild Thing Ricky Vaughn. And, that's always
I don't know that that's going to work.
How could you ever go wrong emulating Lou Brown? Grant McAuley of our Braves POSTCAST, of course, from the Diamond. Check out the podcast. You can hear him on Sundays on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Great to talk to you as always, buddy. Appreciate the time today. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Take a time out. Come back. Wrap things up next here on A to Z. Locked on Sports Atlanta. Free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked on Sports Atlanta.